Good evening, Fernwood. It is your more or less healthy friend Neil on the recovery here, and it's time for us to take a mental health break together by watching an episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we'll be checking out the June 23rd, 1976 episode, and yesterday we saw a major beat and a few minor beats, so let's take a look at those. The major beat is that the documentary crew from the contest that Mary joined invaded Mary's household yesterday, giving her really no room to deal with the ins and outs of her daily life. Many people visited during the film shoot, and it basically became a circus. Over at the motel, Loretta and Merle Cheaters had a little meeting. Loretta's trying to pull away from the Universal Mission Crusade, but Merle really comes as close as he can to begging Loretta to come on the road with him to a first appearance in Chicago to appear with him on stage. Loretta is pretty hesitant about this, but is thinking about it. And of course, we know that Merle has some kind of intentions for Loretta that he has not spoken out loud, but they do seem kind of icky. Then back at the Hartman home, well, the film crew is still there and it is still pretty much a mess. Grandpa comes over briefly to try to explain how he's feeling left out of home at the Shumway residence, and then Tom comes in looking drunk. Oh, I didn't mention that Tom and Mary had gotten back together, and that's a bit of a conversation that maybe we'll take up after the episode. But Tom comes in really drunk off of his tuchus and makes a spectacle of himself on camera. We don't know what the film crew is going to prioritize, but I imagine they'll pick the most salacious parts. So I know that if you watched yesterday's episode with me, then you might be curious about my basic health going on. I had Moderna shot 2 days ago, which, my arm is still a little bit sore. Yesterday I woke up really feeling like I could maybe shoot an episode, and then I hit a wall right around 10 a.m. and that put me in bed for like the whole afternoon, and when I woke up I just felt like chilling out. So my shooting schedule is totally back to normal. But that's only because I shot ahead of time in my normal shooting schedule. So that is of no import to you. You don't care what my shooting schedule looks like. We're going to watch this episode together, and then afterward we will talk about it, including some things that we've been talking about in the comments. So, all right, let's do this.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Tom,
What?
what color is scope?
How should I know?
Scope, what color is it? Scope, the mouthwash.
I don't know.
It's blue.
So what?
This isn't blue, it's white.
It's not white, it's colorless.
Why?
I don't know why. Maybe it's new and improved, maybe.
Maybe it's new and unimproved. This isn't scope, Tom. This is vodka. What did you do? Pour out the scope and fill this with vodka? That's what you did, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe I did.
There are no maybes about it. I can smell it.
So what?
Tom, we have to have a very serious talk. I mean, your drinking has become a very serious problem, and we have to have a very serious talk about this.
Mary, look, get off my back, will you? Just make me some coffee, huh? I'm in no mood for one of your serious talks.
Don't wear that shirt.
What?
Because that shirt is dirty. You wore that shirt yesterday. I'll get you a fresh shirt here. Let me get you a fresh shirt. It's very important, if you're going to be a well-dressed person, that you be wearing a fresh shirt. So let me get you a fresh shirt here, okay?
Yeah, I'll just wear this.
Tom. What's going on here? What is this? Why are you drinking like this? What's the matter? What's wrong? What?
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's the matter. Everything's peachy keen.
Tom, everything's awful. You're becoming an alcoholic.
I'm not an alcoholic. Alcoholic is a guy that has to drink. I don't have to drink. I stop drinking anytime I want.
Well, then why don't you?
Because the bottom's falling right out of my life. That's why. Huh? No bottom, no life. Right? Right? Look what's happened. I lost my job. Right? I had to take this crummy part-time clerking thing. And I've had to resign my union office. Right? And on top of that, my wife has been unfaithful to me with some damn policeman. That's why.
Tom.
No. Wait a minute. You asked me a question, right? So let me answer it, all right? My wife has been unfaithful to me with some damn policeman. And on top of that, she has to humiliate me in front of my friends by dragging that damn policeman with her to Loretta's recording session. Now, if that ain't enough to drive a man to drink, I don't know what the hell is.
Tom, I told you that I was sorry.
Well, I don't want to hear about that.
Tom, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Please, Tom.
No, look, it was a cheap and disgusting thing to do, Mary.
Tom, you have to understand how hurt I was when you walked out on our marriage.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I walked out is because you were with that damn policeman. That's why.
But the only reason that I did what I did with Dennis was because of what you had done with our marriage.
Yeah, well, I did what I did with our marriage because you had already done what you had done to it. That's why.
Oh, Tom, this is stupid. We can go all the way back to Adam and Eve.
Yeah, well, Eve wasn't unfaithful to Adam, Mary. Ow.
Tom. Let's just let bygones be bygones, okay? We'll just start fresh, okay? Let's start fresh. That's the best way to start, is just to start fresh.
Okay, all right. Anything you say, fresh or stale, just please, honey, just stop bugging me, okay?
I don't want to bug you. I really don't want to bug you. I want to love you, and I want to help you, and I'll do anything you want, anything that you want. I'll take cold showers with you. I'll take hot showers with you. I don't like cold showers because they give me a stomachache, but I will take cold showers. We'll take cold showers together, and it'll make you sober, and it'll make you stop drinking. Tom, I'll do anything you want to help. I swear, I'll just do anything that you want. We'll spend our days just drinking pots of black coffee. We'll just drink pots of black coffee, okay?
Hey, I'm sorry, all right?
Okay.
I'm just sorry about the way I've been acting, honest. I don't enjoy giving you a hard time. I really don't. And you want to know the God's honest truth? I don't enjoy drinking, honey. I don't.
I don't either, Tom. I hate the smell.
I don't know why. I just made it rough on you, haven't I? And you made it rough on me. I don't know why we do it. I guess we didn't mean to. It just worked out that way, right? But you're right. You were really right about it. Can't go into why. We just got to start fresh, okay? Huh?
So then you pour these down the sink, then? I can do that?
Sure. Just pour them down the drain. Be a lot better than Drano.
Okay. And then you really do think that you could stop drinking, like, really for good?
Yeah, no sweat.
Then we...
Hey, look. We made a deal. It's a bargain, okay? I'm not kidding. Hey, come here. Hey, what's the matter with you? Mary, stop it. Hey, honey. Hey, what's the matter with you,
Those
sweetheart?
airplanes, they just just drive me crazy.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Television crews here. They, hey, what are you doing with that booze?
There's
Drinking? Even before breakfast?
Hey, honey.
Heather, there's no booze here. There's no booze, and there's not going to be any booze here. Just go and you tell the television crew that I'll be down there in a second. Okay, just tell them I'll be down there in a second.
But what about the booze?
Heather, go!
Hey, take it easy. Okay.
Okay.
Just take it easy. Relax.
Okay, I'm gonna go now and see about the television crew because they're waiting for me now, and I'm gonna make us a wonderful breakfast, and we'll have pancakes and waffles and everything good, and everything's gonna be okay. I know everything's gonna be okay because we're gonna work on everything, and if we work on everything, everything will be okay. I love you. I love you very much. And Tom, would you could you just throw these down the sink, okay? Just throw these down. Okay, please.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah.
Okay, sweetheart. I'll be downstairs and I'll be waiting for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. I love you very much.
I love you.
I love you.
Come here. I got one, just one.
Oh, I forgot.
Hey,
What are you doing? Picking horses?
Yep. I've got assistants.
Really?
I've never lost a penny on a horse yet.
You're kidding. What is your system?
I never bet. You're off to work, darling?
Yeah, but I have to stop by the rectory before I go to the studio.
Something tells me something's going on between you and that young priest I keep hearing about.
Oh, no. We are just good friends, that's all.
My advice is keep it that way.
Oh, listen, I'm just going over there because he's going to be on a panel next week on the news show, and I'm dropping off some material to him, that's all.
Then you're going to do the weather report?
Uh-huh.
Listen, next time you predict rain, let me know. I'll make you look good. I could make it rain, you know.
How, really?
By doing the Choctaw Rain dance. It's surefire.
You're terrific.
Ah.
Hi, and bye, Grandpa Luck, and I've got to go.
No kiss for me?
Of course there's a kiss for you. Mwah. And have a good day, okay? Goodbye to both you grandpas, and how?
By using my system.
Yes.
She's a great girl. A great girl.
Yeah.
What's the matter, Raymond? You seem kind of down in the mouth.
Not down in the mouth, I'm down in the back. It's my lumbago.
Lumbago? You've got lumbago? I can cure that, you know. Just sit in that chair.
I'd rather sit in my chair.
Okay, sit in your chair.
Well, I can't without sitting in your lap. You're sitting in my chair.
Oh, here, sit down. Bum, 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 bum. Hiya, 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 hiya. How does it feel now?
The pain's gone.
You see? Surefire, never misses.
Maybe you're not such a phony after all.
Oh, I'm the real thing. I cured your lumbago, didn't I?
Unless it was the acidic stink Anderson I took this morning.
Anderson, it can do, I can do better.
I don't get it.
Well, you won't need those pills as long as I'm around.
How long will that be?
I don't know. It depends how an idea I got works out. Plastic TPs for the tourist trade. I figure that if I can get so many... Oh, hi, Mary.
Also with those TV fellas?
No, they went out for some lunch.
Want some lunch, Mary? I can whip you up some genuine cornmeal fritters.
Oh, no thanks. I'm too nervous to eat.
Nervous?
Yeah.
I've got a surefire cure for that. Sit down.
No thanks. I'm too nervous to sit.
But it's a sure cure. I've got lots of sure cures. I sure just cured Raymond's lumbago. Right, Raymond?
Well, either that or the Anderson.
Do you have a cure for alcoholism?
Tom's still hitting the bottle, huh?
I've got a surefire cure for alcoholism. A surefire anti-firewater cure.
Look, just don't say it if you don't mean it, because this is very serious to me. My whole marriage depends on it.
You want to help Tom? Listen to me. The best way you can help him is to make him help himself.
Like how? I don't mean how. I mean how.
He's got to want to kick it. All you can do for him is tell him to go to Alcoholics Anonymous or someplace like that. But that's all you can do. The worst thing you can do is baby him, or pamper him, or coddle him. He's got to go for the cure on his own.
But what if he won't?
What if he won't? I'll tell you what if he won't. Then you've got to kick him out of the house.
Kick him out?
Right on his butt.
But that would be cruel.
Kicking him out is the kindest thing you can do for him. It's the only way he's going to get turned around. You've got to take his crutches away. He's got to learn to want to stand on his own. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. It's the only cure. That's what my wife did for me. God rest her soul. I hit the bottom with a loud crash, and that knocked some sense into me. Made me realize I had to get help.
But kicking him out when he needs me?
He needs you, Mary, yes. Right now, he needs you to kick him out, not to baby him. It's the only way. It's the only cure. I'm an alcoholic, a recovered alcoholic. I know how. Not how. How?
If you're such an expert with a sure cure for everything, how about irregularity?
Let me have another one, Buzz.
Hi, Tom.
Get lost.
I already got lost.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means that Mary and I aren't seeing one another anymore. I guess there's no reason for you and me to be unfriendly.
Oh, no? I got a very good reason. I hate your guts, Foley.
Tom, if you stop to think about it, you and I both want the same thing.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
We both want Mary to be happy.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. She'd been a hell of a lot happier if she hadn't got mixed up with you.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
What Mary needs to be happy is you. I see that finally. That's why I gave her up.
That's what? What? What do you mean you gave her up?
I decided not to marry her.
You decided not to marry her? Wait a minute. What do you mean you decided not to marry her?
She asked me to marry her. But for her sake, and for yours, because you both belong together, I decided to turn it down.
Wait. She asked you to marry her, and you turned it...
That's
What?
right.
She asked you to marry her, and you turned it down? You turned it down? Get the hell out of here, Foley. Come on, get out. Out!
Keep your shirt on, Tom.
You watch it, Foley. Don't forget I'm taller than you. A lot taller. How did I get to be taller than him? She asked him to marry him. What?
Watch the lens, honey.
I'm sorry, Fred. I'm sorry, Razzles. I'm sorry. Okay, I just understand. This is my favorite polisher. Now, because, see that? What this does is it brings out the very, could you get the light up there? Brings out the very natural beauty in the wood. Now, this is not wood. This is Formica. But this spray brings out the natural beauty of the Formica, which I think is very important. I mean, I believe that everything has its own natural beauty, and for it to be brought out, to me, is a blessing.
Play the camera. Play the camera. Over here, over here.
Play what?
Tell us more about the spray.
Oh, well, well, another wonderful thing about the spray.
Watch the lens. Wait. Watch the lens.
I'm sorry, really. Oh, it really hurts the lens. Well, okay, should I just start that over again?
Yeah, that's right. Just
Okay,
take it to the top.
this is wonderful. Another wonderful thing about this spray is, watch this.
Great.
Okay, it does not. Oh, my bad. This will not make holes in the ozone layer. Now that is a very important thing. There's holes in the ozone layer because, like they use this spritzer, that kind of thing, for carbonated drink, and it would be awful. I mean, if it made holes in the ozone layer, can you imagine, what it would do to your stomach? I mean, I think that's it.
Back off the mic. Will you on it?
It's so embarrassing that I just did that. Oh,
Hi.
Here, cover the door.
I see you're still being a TV star.
Heather. Hi.
Cut.
Heather, go do your homework. Go do your homework, Heather.
I'd appreciate it, Mrs. Hartman, if Heather could stick around, because I'd like to find out about a typical child's after-school activities.
I'm not typical. Most girls my age, they have bigger bazooms.
What do you do after school, Heath?
Hang out
Hang out.
with my friend Trudy Weathersby. Because if I come home, my mother will yell at me. And that's a drag.
Now, doesn't she have a wonderful sense of humor? I mean, just a wonderful sense of humor. You know what I call her sense of humor? Dry.
What's so funny about being yelled at?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A demolition expert that blows up big hotels. Boom!
Okay, let's get Tom.
Tom, excuse me. Oh, it's a little slippery from this way. I wish you wouldn't film this.
Go ahead,
This is not typical.
Film it. This is
it's
typical.
Not
This is typical.
It's not typical of him to come home drunk. Please don't film
Very
this.
typical.
Please
Very
don't film
typical, and
this.
I'll tell you why it's typical. Because I just lost my second job in a week. The economy is lousy.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah. And you know what else is typical? Her. She's typical, not because she uses all this stuff, this junk she sees advertised, but because the whole moral climate of this country is going right down the tubes. Right down the tubes.
Like
And you know why? You know why?
cherry?
I'll take one. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Would you like a
Bunch
bean
of
cherry?
big cherries, yeah. You know why it's going down the tubes? Because housewives all over the country are sleeping around with
Would you
other
like
guys.
another
No, thanks.
bean?
Sleeping around with other guys. Where should we put the pit?
Oh, here.
Yeah.
I'll take the bits.
They're sleeping around with other guys while their husbands are out working. You understand that? To make a living? She did that. She did it. She did it with some damn policeman. Now, how do you like that for a guy who's supposed to serve and protect?
Okay, Tom. Okay, you drop this. No, that's okay. That's no problem. But that's enough, okay? Now, Tom is an alcoholic, okay? And the best thing, yes, you are. And the best thing to do for an alcoholic is not to help him. So I'm just going to ask him to leave now, okay?
I'm not
Tom,
an alcoholic.
you are to leave this house and you're not to come back.
I would like
till you
another
stop
drink of
drinking.
Bing Cherries,
Tom, you
please.
are an alcoholic.
I am not an alcoholic.
Tom,
Mary.
you're an alcoholic.
Take that
You're
back.
an alcoholic, and the only way I can help an alcoholic is to ask you to leave. You gotta get out of the house, Tom. Get out of the house. Get out of the house. Get out of the house.
Great.
See, like what I just did there, that is the best thing for him. I can guarantee you that. The move that I just made has a guarantee.
That was a lot. That was so much. And substance abuse, alcoholism, those are enormous problems. Enormous problems in a relationship, enormous problems in just a person's life. And sadly, Tom does not acknowledge that he has a problem. And he had a problem before he started coming home like looking like a hobo. But again, he ignored any calls to go get some treatment. If we take a look at that first scene, it is Mary confronting Tom about the alcohol. She finds a bottle of Scope that has been refilled with vodka, plus another bottle of some kind of booze. Strangely, I have heard that if you are a recovering alcoholic, or maybe you've been kept away from actual booze, one of the tactics that some very desperate alcoholics do to get their buzz on is to drink straight up mouthwash. That's not the case here, and I maybe would have thought it was extra gross to see it go that far this quickly, but yeesh. Tom promises that he will not drink, and then of course within 30 seconds of being left alone with bottles, he drinks immediately. Then over at the Shumways, Grandpa Larkin and Billy 12trees have a little interplay. Billy 12trees cures Grandpa's lumbago. I don't actually know what it is, but it is associated with elderly folks in the pop culture that I have taken in. And then Mary comes over for advice about what to do with Tom. And I feel like Billy's advice is cogent, although it isn't followed exactly to the letter when we get to it. But his experience as an alcoholic is honest and truthful. It's maybe good advice. I have, again, no experience with living with someone with substance abuse or alcohol problems. Not that I cared enough to get help for anyway. But I believe that Billy's advice comes from a sincere place and from a lived experience as far as a fictional character can go. Then we see Tom at the Capri Lounge and his confrontation with Dennis Foley, or Dennis telling Tom exactly where things left off with Mary and why he left that relationship. And of course, Tom would be livid at that. And then we come back to Mary at home, who is doing her best to put on a show about what it is to be a typical consumer housewife. And maybe if she weren't trying so hard, maybe things would be better for her or someone watching. But she is trying so hard to put on a face. And she has been for as long as I feel like I've known her. And when Tom comes in, Mary follows Billy's advice, or at least half of it, because she doesn't make clear to Tom that he should be seeking help, that he may want to go to Alcoholics Anonymous or some other treatment, and just kicks him out. I think the desperation of having all of the cameras going and the attention and the lights, and it just wasn't a place that she could deal with having a real conversation. Just kicking him out like that without actually processing why she was kicking him out is rough. And I'm not sure that Tom, based on what Mary did, would even think to see Alcoholics Anonymous. At this point, he doesn't really acknowledge that he has a problem, and even though Mary has said that out loud verbally that she has a problem, she hasn't made it clear that that's something that would make a difference, him going to Alcoholics Anonymous. So I hope that he does. I don't know that he will immediately, not with what he just got right here. So I wanted to talk a little bit, now that's all I got to say about this specific episode, but I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the comments that we've been getting over the last period of time. So 2.5 weeks ago, we were getting some comments from a couple of commenters that really put Tom under the gun, I think. And as I have been processing this show, day to day for 6 months, I've been thinking about my feelings for this show and each of the characters within it. I feel like I am doing my best to be as fair as I can to everyone that I'm watching, and there are very few characters that I feel don't necessarily deserve my empathy. I think I think of the characters that are straight up villains in this show. I count Merle Cheaters, I count Muriel Haggers, and even though I really dislike Dennis, at least I can see he is generally sincere about the awful things that he does. And the two commenters, by the way, are Elusive Pisces and What Is Going On. They definitely feel like Tom is largely to blame for the problems in Tom and Mary's relationship. And I don't know that I agree with that exactly. I believe that both Tom and Mary have responsibilities for that relationship. I feel like as much as Tom fails to see the lack of meaning in Mary's life and the lack of responsibility for her sexual pleasures that made up such a big part of the first 6 months for the show, I also feel like Mary fails to see the lack of meaning in Tom's life. They both are searching for something much more important than their lot in life, and both are just missing the mark. And Tom is now torturing himself, and I don't approve of it. I think he really needs help. I also think that Mary needs help. They are both messes. And that's just my general take on that relationship. I wish that they could find some way to build a vocabulary together for understanding the other partner's perspective, because they both have big, deep problems, and they both lack a way to express their problems and to understand their partner's problems, both of them. And you could go back and look at my comments, but that's the general take on it. Now, at this moment, Tom is a huge mess from the alcohol and his numbing his pain. I understand why he's doing it. It's still a problem. And Mary is a huge mess, and she is doing the same thing in my mind. She is distracting herself from the obvious deep depression that she is feeling. And those to me are equal. We feel for Mary, because she's on our screen most of the time in most episodes. She's in every single episode, even the clip show, so I understand that. But having looked at this relationship for 100+ days in the last several months, that's how I see it. So yes, I think that they both have problems. Yes, I think that they really need help. Yes, I think that they are both to blame. I think that Tom deserves a lot of the blame for their relationship. I think that Mary deserves as much. And I don't know, maybe share your thoughts here. I'd love to dig into that conversation. That's where I stand currently, and maybe we'd have to talk about a lot more than just one single episode at this point. But thank you so much for your attention. That was our June 23rd, 1976 episode. Thank you so much for coming along, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.